Hi, my name is Nick Lossiter, and this is for KSP 644, and this is the project for school, family, and community partnerships. And part of the assignment was to pick a school from the Minnesota Department of Education, and then do some research on that school through various websites. And I chose to go through the schools with you here on this video while I talk about them a little bit. And give you my impressions of what I saw. So the school I picked was actually my home school and the school in which three of my kids attend. My wife works, I also work as well. So it's a school that we've had some definite experience with, but in terms of numbers, there are lots of things I was unaware of that I learned as part of this assignment. So it's really helpful and eye-opening in that way. So where we are here first is the information that we get from the Minnesota Department of Education. So they give you a lot of really specific information about demographics and whatnot. So I'm going to go through some of that. So starting off here with demographics, you can see that Maple River, and this is specifically Maple River High School, is definitely very white, 96% in fact white. That is more than the state average. And you can see it broke down a little bit. So the largest minority is Hispanics, as you can see there, at 2%. So again, very, very large white population. You can see some other indicators here. So free or reduced lunch, 31%. So a little on the high side. I know it's a Title I school, I believe. Special education, 13%. And then English learners pretty low at 1% there. So looking at some test results, you can see that Maple River in purple here is about on par with the state, which is green. So you can see they both kind of right there at 50% in terms of proficiencies. And the numbers are broke down just a little bit more below that. Graduation rates. Graduation rates are quite high at Maple River. The number specifically 95.4%, so pretty close to 100%. And if the actual numbers that you look at here, so a graduating class last year, 62, two of which, and two dropped out. So total of, and then one who's continuing here. So it looks like three that did not graduate on time, but two that specifically dropped out. So you can also see that this is quite a small school community as well. But in terms of graduation rates, quite high. And then you can see some of the trends over the years and how they've fluctuated. So back to 2011, it looks like they've all been almost 90% or higher. And this last one was 95%, 95.4 in fact. So it looks like you can see that down here too. They stay pretty high in terms of the graduation rate. The school performance, so you can see that their proficiency, 20 points, and their graduation, 25 points. Some more of those things broken down here. A lot of information. Achievement gap, focus proficiency, and then so some student progress. So you can see they've fluctuated. It looks like they've gone down a little bit this last year of those students who are designated as on track. And so there's a whole lot of information here. Staffing profile. So you can see the percentage of staff here. So almost 50% are teachers. It looks like 0% media specialists. 18.6 paraprofessionals, some administrators, and then other staff, including some non-licensed staff. And then some qualifications of teachers. You can see that 67% have a bachelor's degree, 32% have a master's degree. So I know some schools will have a higher percentage of master's degree, but it looks like Maple River is at about a third of their teachers. And then to compare it to different school in the district, I'm going to type in Maple River East Elementary, where actually 2 of my kids go to school. So if you look here, it's slightly different, a little bit lower on teachers. But if you look at demographics, still, again, huge majority white, 95%. Little slightly larger with 3% Hispanic, but again, very much white population, large white population. Test scores. So Maple River is actually up here at 83 or 85.3% proficient, as compared with the school district on the whole at 66, and then statewide, which is a little bit lower yet at that is at 60%. So it looks like they're scoring significantly higher than some other schools actually in the district. And they don't have graduation rates because they are an elementary school. So you can see their proficiency and their progress. So their student progress is higher than what the senior high was. And then we look already at the staffing profile just a little bit. Let's see about the qualifications of teachers. So it looks similar. It actually looks like, nope, it's about the same. So master's teacher, bachelor degree, about 2/3 to 1/3. And it looks like we have no folks there with special permission. Everybody has a license, years of experience, more than 50% with more than 10 years of experience. And the smallest piece of the pie is 3 to 10, and then less than 3 years is about 26.7%. So there's some really interesting data in terms of 2 different schools in the same district. You can kind of see how they vary a little bit. In general, very large white population. They tend to score a little bit higher on some of the testing, and especially the elementary school. Now, if you go to the district website, so this is Maple River School district website. Now, I can tell you I just happen to know that the district website does not respond to a Macintosh computer. So that's partly why it looks like this. But if you were a parent and you didn't happen to know that, this is all that you would see. There's no communication on the website about, that you have to be on a different search engine or whatnot, or that you can't do it through Safari. So that's one of those technical things that is difficult if you just don't happen to know. But so if I'm a parent coming on here with an Apple computer, this is what I would see. So one piece, as I was looking through this, that I found was pretty interesting is the 2014-2015 annual report that was submitted by our superintendent. You can see the superintendent, Dan Anderson, right there. And he just highlights some key things. So here's the testing on reading, math, and science, and it shows that the Maple River School District is consistently scoring above the state average. And then it gives a little bit of a breakdown of some of the activities in the school. Here's the one act which I had played a part in last year. And just some specific achievements, graduation rates above 90%, like I mentioned before. Some of the awards that they've won, you can see over here. Some extracurriculars. And then they talk about their higher education. You can earn college credits and things of that sort. And then I kind of like they talked about where the money goes. So he breaks it down for every dollar. Here is the breakdown. So 3.7 cents for support. The largest is 59.1 cents for instruction and instructional support, paying teachers and whatnot. And then it's in a pie chart as well for the taxpayer to see. And then where the money comes from is below that. And then you can see how their finances are in comparison to other surrounding communities. And in general, the trend seems to be that they are receiving less money than surrounding communities. So part of the reason that this port was made was the school district tried to pass a levy last November, and it failed. And it failed quite a bit. And so the superintendent was trying to get information out for people to have the right resources to make an informed decision. So here's some of the district stuff, and like I said, it has some good things on it. You see there's a calendar over on the right side here, which gives some specific events on it. It's a little confusing to look at least in my opinion. These, if you're looking, you actually can't click on these links. You can click on some of these other ones so you can see what the budget was like. So you can see there. And you can see some other testing information. So if you click on the calendar, it actually doesn't open. So again, some technology issues here. If I were a member of the community or a parent, to be honest, I'd be kind of lost if I just went to this website and didn't have much background information. One thing I could do is I could select a school. So if my child is going to the high school, I would click that. Then it brings me to the high school, which is pretty much the same, at least in look. The calendar is a little different. You can see over here, but it only has 5 or 6 events for the next month, and I would imagine there's more than 5 or 6 events. So again, it seems like there's not a whole lot of information. There's the mission statement right in the middle. Just a phone number to call. You get some of the testing stuff. They have a handbook. So there's some pertinent information in here, but I think, again, if I were to sum it up, I don't think it's too mean to say that it's not necessarily user-friendly and not inviting, per se, to a member of the community who is interested in the school. And similar for parents. So if you wanted to know about one of your kids' teachers, you could click on that link, and let's just click on him, and so you see which classes he teaches. So let's say you knew your child was in English 10, you could click on that. And again, not to be too judgmental here, but it gives you some information about the class, to be sure, but there's not like you can't see your kids' work from this website. And if it is somewhere, there's not a link to it from this website where the teacher is. So it's kind of one of those things like we were talking about before, like where teachers say that, oh, well, they can get in contact with me, but it's not easy. If you look at the City of Mapleton website here, it's right here. Now, the only direct connection that this website has with the school is when you click Maple River School, but it brings you to the school district website, and then it's just exactly the same as what we were looking at before. So there doesn't seem to be a huge connection between school and community, at least in terms of the website. So again, those partnerships don't necessarily seem to be strong in terms of what I'm seeing here. You can look at our community newspaper just here, and if you click on it, you can see that our basketball team went to state, and you can see a few other activities. So the school activities are popular in the paper. And again, so here's the state basketball team, having a 2-page spread, which is great. But it seems to be, if there's a connection in the community with the school, it tends to be based on sports, which, there isn't necessarily anything wrong with that, but it's not always the deepest connection because schools can do so much more than sports. So if I were to want to make some improvements to the partnerships, which I think there's a lot of room to make improvements, I would want to